Happy New Year to everyone and welcome to 49ers Cal High Sports presented by U.S. Bank. I'm Robert Brownstein.
And I'm Aubrey Tolliver. Tonight we have a very special show for you. We relive some of the great games we have covered over the past year.
That's right, but first, a look back at one of the greatest teams in Bay Area sports history. 15 years ago, the McClymonds Warriors put together the perfect season. This made history through hard work, some hard times, and the bond created through overcoming life in West Oakland. The 2007 state title game was a huge disappointment for the McClymonds Warriors, a team out of West Oakland, California. The team lost, and it wasn't close. The Warriors wanted nothing more than to return to state the next season and win it all. But that summer, tragedy struck the McClymonds family.
Prior to that 2008 season, my daughter committed suicide and took my grandbaby with her.
Yolo County authorities say they are investigating the death of a 35-year-old mother and her 9-year-old daughter as a murder-suicide. Kaja Taylor and her daughter were killed late last night after their car was hit by a Union Pacific train in Davis.
You know, when that happened, I probably wouldn't have coached, you know, because I was in a dark place, you know. I was around here drinking and...
Didn't know if he was going to be the same. Me personally, I didn't know if it was going to be the same, Coach Mo.
You know, I was just going crazy, and a lot of it was my grandbaby.
And he was a father figure to all of us. And we weren't his flesh and blood, but we were close to it. But then when he loses his flesh and blood, it's a lot different.
I had got custody of her because she had tried to do something in Sacramento and include my granddaughter. And they had given me custody of my granddaughter, and she had stayed here with me for 6 months.
And so we didn't know what Coach Mo we were going to get.
But the thing that kind of comforted me some was that she had given my granddaughter a sedative so that she wouldn't know what was happening. And say when she pulled her car on the tracks, it was just to the point where the train wouldn't be able to stop.
First I heard of that, I mean, that was definitely hard for me and the boys, especially with that being like our senior year and everything. And like Coach Mo was definitely like a father to all of us.
Here's the fuel to this whole program, right? To this whole community, really. Everybody knows Coach Mo. Everybody responds to Coach Mo. There's people in the stands that won't do certain things because Coach Mo is there.
When something like that happened, especially as a kid, we were 16, 17-year-olds, you don't really know what to say to a grown-up at that point. You know what I mean? All you could do was try to be there for him. So we called him, said what we could say, you know.
What I really remember is our team coming together in the Plaza of Peace, and it was just like, that moment right there, I knew like those were all my brothers and we were Coach Mo's sons pretty much, and everybody had the same feeling, like everybody was just heard.
There's people when he drive on campus, he don't even play for him. They don't even play sports. They won't do certain things because Coach Mo is there. They won't cuss class because Coach Mo is there. So the leader of our school and our community is facing this tragedy. So we all were just kind of lost, to be honest with you, and we were nervous, like we need him back.
All you could do was try to be there for him, so we called him, said what we could say, you know. I don't know if it really moved him at that particular time, you know, but I know he's telling us, looking back on it, it really helped him. And then third was like, are we going to have a coach?
When it happened with his family, because he had already been through tragedy with his wife, right? And the guy's the pillar of strength, right? He's the pillar of strength. He doesn't let people see his emotions. And when I talked to him personally, I heard his emotions and I understood it.
Well, my wife died in 2003, and that was Labor Day, and we were on the freeway, and a car in front of us slammed on their brakes, and just when I seen that I could get over, somebody rear-ended us. Another car hit us, and we ended up flipping over and going over an embankment, and actually we tumbled about 4 or 5 times. And my wife died in the accident, you know. They took me to the hospital in ambulance, but they flew her in a helicopter. And by the time I got to John Muir, they told me she was gone, you know. And so that was really hard, you know. And I didn't think I was gonna coach then, but I had to get back to coaching because I was, like I said, I was here drinking again, you know, and couldn't sleep. And every time I go to sleep, I kept seeing her mangled body, you know, and it was just like a nightmare that I was living over and over.
None of us, if you ask anybody on that team, none of us could have blamed Coach Mo if he called it quits. Because something like that, it rocks you to the core.
But we're so young, you know, now that I'm a grown man, I really understand it. But he told me, hey, I'm gonna be taking some time off. You're one of the leaders on the team, and I need you to help the team focus, right, during this conditioning time. Now, we didn't know that he was questioning on not coming back. Now I'm being older, it makes sense. You would automatically think of that. But I never believed like he was not gonna come back. But as the time went on, I started thinking, dude, Coach Mo might not come back.
He made a promise to me, and like, I mean, at this point it didn't really matter because this is like, you know, you lost some family members, right? So, but for me, he made a promise to me my 8th grade year before I even came to McClymonds. He said that he would stay there and he would coach me all 4 years. And that's big, like even with like some family trauma going on like that, like for you to keep your promise to me, which he did, he stuck it out for me and the rest of my team. He wanted to finish that year.
I didn't think I was gonna coach anymore, but I got a call from FrankOtis that night, and he told me that all the kids were in the parking lot. He said, well, Coach, half of us are crying, and we are praying for you, and I know you don't want to think about it right now, but if you come back to coaches, we definitely gonna get you back to state.
Coach Mo eventually decided to come back for one final year to keep his promise to FrankOtis and try and win a state title for McClymonds and for the city of Oakland. It had been 9 years since an Oakland team had won a state title. The early season was a breeze for Matt, beating most teams by double digits. This game against Oak Grove was an 11-point win. But life is never easy in West Oakland. After a game against Grant in December, there was a shooting just outside the McClymonds gym. JV player Barry Bell was shot, an innocent bystander in a West Oakland shootout.
Somebody ran in the gym and told me, Coach Mo, they shooting outside. Barry done got shot.
She went walk my sister home. And we were just waiting there, waiting for my friend, and then all of a sudden we just heard gunshots, and then, you know, there's a bunch of people, and out of everybody, I wasn't thinking it was gonna be me. I do remember falling, but I really don't remember getting shot.
Right here in front of this gate, none of these gates was here. So it stopped right here. I was ended up talking to forgot one of the staff. I was ended up talking to one of the staff right here, and then all I see shots ring out from here.
They were shooting down the street, you know, and people were running back toward the gym, and he happened to get hit.
And I ended up running back to here, and then right there by the speed bump is when I fell. I remember getting up, and then I remember towards the end, I ended up looking down, and then a couple of young ladies ended up saying I was shot, and I ended up looking down. I see a bunch of blood just gushing down my leg.
Bullet went straight through, and the campus supervisor guy put him in his car and rushed him to Highland.
But there was just stuff going on everywhere. I know Will had lost his uncle during that year, and we were losing people, and there was like shootings every single day in that neighborhood, right? Every single day.
We had a lot of tragedy growing up in Oakland because like it's a lot of gang violence and violence going on around there, period. But everybody knew that we played basketball, but that's all we was thinking how we can get out, like it's by basketball.
It's no way to live, to be honest with you, man. When you're young and you're immersed in it, you don't really understand how traumatizing it is to you as a kid until you get to be an adult. Or for myself, who was fortunate to go to a school in Montana, which is a total 360, right? Where they might have had one death a year where they're from. And for us to be having 80 to 100 some homicides in 2008 alone, being top 5 in the country in violence and homicides at that time, it's traumatizing. And there's no way you should live like that, and we don't know that until we get around other people. And it's very alarming that a kid at 16 years old kind of shrugs off one death and forgets about it the next couple of days because it's the norm.
The MAC games was sacred ground. Nothing would go down at the games. And so I used to make it a point I would have somebody from Acorn on the team, somebody from Lower Bottoms on the team, and somebody from Ghost Town on the team. And I would always tell them, I know your friend's gonna be in your ear about don't do this, don't pass to this person, don't do this. I say, look, if y'all get caught up in that mess, you might as well turn your gear in, because I'm not gonna have it, you know. And the guys used to tell them, man, nah, man, Coach Mo gonna kick me off the team.
The Oakland League was loaded that season with great teams and big-name players. This game against Oakland was one of several tight games during league play. The game was close all the way. Very late in the game, Oakland's Damian Lillard hits a very long three to tie the game at 51 all.
I start talking about basketball gods, and every weekend when I go visit my wife and granddaughter them, I would leave, I say, I'll see you next week, basketball gods, because we played Oakland High at Oakland High.
Well, first off, Dame's shot was spectacular. That guy had been shooting deep since he was 17, 18 years old. He shot that from literally two steps over half court in Quincy Hill's face. It was a great contest.
Oh yeah, Dame shot, that was big. Like, this crazy thing is I still see that play now on social media, and people don't even know the end result.
One of the Oakland High players smoked a layup right up under the basket, and we got the ball with, I think, 3 seconds to go.
And the play was designed for me for an alley-hoop play, but for some reason, I think one of our players tripped up and we didn't end up finishing out the play, and got the ball to Memo, and he shot it, and it looked like from when he let it go, it was gonna go in, but it went all the way in. Like,
I got the pass coming from half court, and then I saw DeMario wide open. I threw it to DeMario, and DeMario hits the three-pointer for the game. So shout out to Memo Sims.
So I let the game come to me, but I also was like, I'm not leaving this game without showing people what time it is. You know, to not leaving my mark.
I thought DamonPowell was gonna go up and catch it to dunk it, and had he did that, it would not count it. DeMario shot the ball, it hit nothing but net, you know. And that was another game we won that I don't understand how we won it.
the Memo, it was Memo and Coach Mo. They had the genies, they had the angels over them.
Memo hits a crazy shot, which before he even went in the basket, I grabbed him. I knew it was going in, and everybody just rushed to the floor. And the backstory behind that, Memo and Dame had been talking junk on Instant Messenger, AOL, AIM, back in the sidekicks, the day of the game before. And when Dame hits the shot, in the video, they're walking past each other, and you can see Dame talking stuff to Memo and tell him, like, I told you. And Memo said, watch this. Immediately, he hits it, and a lot of people don't know that play wasn't supposed to go to Memo, but because we only had 3 seconds. But at the last minute, Mook saw Memo wide open, and Memo canned it. And it was just, after that, I just felt like there was nobody that could stop us after that.
It was one of those games where it's like, hey, dude, if I shoot the ball, I'm not gonna miss it. Right? Like, I was feeling like that.
I'll see you next week, basketball gods.
The league season went on with McClymonds winning every game. DamonPowell thrilling the packed gyms with athletic dunks to entertain the crowds and hype up his team.
At least once or twice a game. Once or twice a game, because he did so much on the defensive end. When we had to reward him on the offensive end. And by that, being a high flyer DamonPowell was, he's going to punch that ball through the rim so crazy to get everybody out their stands. And that actually turned us up 2, 3, 4, 5 notches again on defense to go get him another dunk.
You want to come see dunk and do this and that and this and that. So I knew I'm a ticket salesman, so I just knew my role.
The road to state would once again lead to De La Salle. The Spartans and McClymonds had great respect for each other. This time the teams met in the NorCal Final game. The winner would go to state.
For some reason, we always meet. And it's funny because I found out I have an attorney, and one of the De La Salle players works for him. And he told me that the kid told him that's all FrankOtis used to talk about was McClymonds and me, and they preparing for us. And I say, that's funny because we did the same thing.
We knew Man, like, for that week of practice, man, you have to be completely disciplined. Because Laco runs a college-style Princeton offense, back cut, everything. So you have to be completely disciplined. And I'll say it on camera right now, Coach Mo, I'm sorry, I was the one who gave up the one back door in the game.
First of all, much respect to De La Salle. Their guys are great. What I really respect about De La Salle is we used to have a summer league down in West Oakland, and Coach Laco, Frank Laco, who's a great guy, would come down and bring his team down and play every year and play. McClymonds wasn't in the best of areas, right? We're in the inner city. A lot of stuff happens over there, but he brought his team down. Yeah, so we played them at Arco in the first half, if you remember, was really, really close, right? And they played us really well. And then I want to say Will had a big game. He had like 19 points and like 15 rebounds. He had a huge game. And we pulled away because we kind of sped the game up.
I remember I had a double-double. I remember I had 18 points and 10 rebounds that game. I had a couple blocks, big blocks. But I remember just how on fire everybody was. That game, I don't think I've ever felt our team together as one like it was. Everything was on a string. Everybody was on a string. Everybody was just as one in sync. And there was really nothing there was nothing De La Salle, they didn't have an answer for us that game.
07, we got there, right? So there was a lot of hype behind us, a lot of hype. And we got really good, and I think we just landed in that moment. And it's a combination of two things. Fairfax was extremely good and was extremely comfortable being there.
The year before when we went to state, it was a terrible performance on our behalf. I think the second quarter, we didn't score a point.
The ending was almost so like we were happy to be there, you know, and we were against a great team in Fairfax. And those guys, they just put it on us, right? But in all, it showed us, you know, as MAC Warriors and our coaching staff and players that were returning that we could do something. You know, we could do something special. We made it there once, so let's try to get there again.
We all grew up together. Our families grew up together. We're all embedded with each other. So when you lose something like that, it hurts. It hurts everybody. So everywhere we went, you kind of felt it, right? People didn't say it to us, but you can kind of feel how they felt, right? Like we had let them down.
Yeah, so after beating a big team like De La Salle, who has a lot of history, a lot of pride, we knew like nothing could stop us from there. So we went into the championship game pretty confident.
Dominguez, I said, fellas, look, if we just run our stuff, they're not going to be able to mess with us.
Welcome back to Arco Arena in Sacramento, California for the D1 State Championship game between Dominguez and McClymonds.
You guys, this is the most prepared you guys have ever been. I'm telling you, if we just go out there and run our stuff, we're going to beat that club.
We worked every single day with one thing in mind. It wasn't OAL, it wasn't tournaments, it wasn't NorCal. We wanted to win state and we wanted to win it convincingly.
We were just determined not to lose that game, and we came out from the jump and kind of put it on those guys and never kind of looked back.
That was strictly a business trip. Like, okay, now we're here. Right, so we beat De La Salle, and it wasn't like a celebration. It's like, what we came here for is right there. That's what it was, straight business.
You know, this was probably the biggest crowd for a state championship in the Arco, because there was over 5,000 fans there. You know, because I knew West Oakland was going to travel, and all of Oakland was pretty much there because we were representing the whole city. It was tied at the end of the first quarter. I think we were up 4 at halftime. Just running our stuff. We were switching defense. They called timeout. We're in a trapping zone. They called timeout. We go man to man. You know, we just kept making adjustments after adjustments, and they weren't ready for it.
Fourth quarter now, and Sims puts the icing on the cake. The senior guard with the hard drive and ridiculous scoop as the McClymonds Warriors complete the perfect season, winning the D1 state title by the final of 73-54.
For Coach Mo, for him to lead with a state championship, it feels real good. And to be with no losses, it feels real good.
We wanted him to go out with a bang. We didn't want his last memory of us going 31-1, so we really just came out with a bang. And plus, we owe it to ourselves to go out after the loss we had to Fairfax last year in the state title.
This time, it was McClymonds winning in a blowout, 32-0 to finish the season. After the game, there was celebration and sadness.
Oh, it was great, you know. They were going crazy.
Because you don't know that you're making history in the time, right? You don't know that it's going to be history. The special thing about that season was we knew we were making history. So that's what what we were facing. Like, we got to a point like, hey, dude, this is history. Because old guys said, hey, this is gonna be remembered forever as the season is going.
It was more than just talent. You know, it was heart. That's what our team played with. Like, those were real West Oakland guys, and you know, we all had that same heart.
The most emotional time for me was they were trying to get us off the floor, and when I turned, I saw my mom. You know, and she had never been to one of my high school basketball games.
We get there, and I had the honor to carry the trophy back, right? So I got the California State trophy, and there's people going crazy. Obviously, there's people going crazy, and then we get on the bus, and all of our crowd is out there is going crazy, and we're just driving back, and everybody's on their phone, and when we land back at McClymonds, everybody that was at that game was at our high school. So the band is out there playing drums, there's people screaming, all of our classmates there, all of our families there, and we're getting off this bus, and I still feel it, I'm like getting chill bumps. And all these people are just going crazy, there's people crying.
I would like to introduce to you the California Interscholastic Federation Division I Men's State Basketball Championship basketball team for 2007 to 2008, the McClymonds Warriors of Oakland. The McClymonds Warriors.
We went to the Capitals. All that was amazing. Like, first time being around there and seeing like, we really did something with ourselves. Like,
what disappointed me, Robert, was the fact that all the stuff I was doing, my wife wasn't there to see. You know, I'm getting all kind of awards when the season is over that I know she would have been proud of. She used to tell people, Dwight, let me do whatever I want to do as long as I let him do his basketball. And to an extent, that was true, you know. And so then, like I say, when I started getting all these postseason awards, it was hard because she wasn't there to see what I had accomplished.
Mind you, this is the biggest tournament, biggest league of my lifetime, basically. Like, but when you guys was asking me where my mom and my dad was, and they wasn't there, so that really hit me different because, like, they had a lot of stuff going on back then, and yeah, it's like, man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's tough.
Yeah, that was tough.
It was crazy, like everything leading up to the state championship. Like, we get all these older McClymonds alumni coming out of, you know, everywhere, and like all our games are packed, and you know, we got police escorting us to different games and to Sacramento. It was crazy. It was like living in a movie, honestly, and I don't know, just everything about it was great. Like I said, it was like a storybook ending for us.
The McClymonds team started the season not knowing if their heartbroken coach would come back for another year. In the end, the Warriors went a perfect 32-0 on the season, all with hard work, through hard times, and with the basketball gods on their side. So 15 years later, and everyone is doing great. All the people that we saw. Coach Mo has had some health problems, but he's doing very well right now, still living in the East Bay. WillCherry is playing overseas, still playing professional basketball. FrankOtis helps troubled youth in Utah. Mario Sims is a Santa Clara County Sheriff's deputy. And DamonPowell just bought a new home in Brentwood where he lives with his daughter and mom. So doing very well 15 years later.
And some of them are back at McClymonds.
That Barry Bell back as the head coach at
coach.
McClymonds. And some people that we didn't see as part of that. Quincy Hill was one of the starters, Coach Brooks. All those guys, a huge part of that amazing season.
It was a great season. Thank you so much, Robert.
I'm Robert Brownstein.
And I'm Aubrey Tolliver. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check back every Sunday night.
And watch us every Sunday night at 6 and 10 p.m. on NBC Sports California. We'll see you at the games.